Before this story begins, subscribe, because stories like this are never told twice. The training compound sat on the edge of a dry plain, its shooting range cut into the earth like a scar. Recruits lined the gravel, boots aligned, rifles resting at their sides. Among them stood Second Lieutenant Mara Hale, newly assigned, slim-framed, unremarkable at first glance. She did not speak much. She did not posture. Her uniform was worn, clean, her movements economical. To the casual eye, she looked inexperienced, too calm, too reserved, but it was her rifle that drew attention. The setup was unconventional, the sling adjusted shorter than regulation preference, the optic mounted slightly forward, the grip angle subtle but deliberate. It was not flashy, but it was precise, optimized, not ornamental. The range instructor, Captain Rourke, noticed immediately. A veteran of conventional doctrine, he believed discipline came from conformity. He believed authority came from rank, not results. And when he saw Mara's rifle, he smirked. Trying to be special? He asked, loud enough for the line to hear. Laughter rippled. A few recruits exchanged glances. No one defended her. Mara did not respond. She adjusted her gloves, checked her breathing, eyes forward. Rourke stepped closer, voice sharp with certainty. "This isn't some fantasy unit. You'll set your rifle the way I tell you." What he did not know, what no one there knew, was that her silence was not submission. It was control. The drill was simple. Timed engagement. 3 targets, 50 meters, from low ready. "Shooters stand by," Rourke barked. The whistle shrieked. Mara moved. Her rifle rose as if pulled by instinct. The sling locked into tension. Her cheek welded to the stock. The world narrowed. 3 shots. Crack, crack, crack. Not rushed, not forced, perfectly spaced. The targets snapped backward almost simultaneously. Center mass, center mass, center mass. The range fell silent. Dust drifted. Brass rolled to a stop. Rourke stared, frozen. The digital timer blinked a number that made no sense. Faster than the instructor's own benchmark. Cleaner than anyone on the line.
Before anyone could speak, a quiet voice came from behind the firing line. An older man, gray hair, no insignia on his cap. He leaned toward Rourke and whispered, just loud enough to carry. "Only Rangers train like that." The silence that followed was heavier than any reprimand. Rourke's jaw tightened. He did not yell. He did not laugh. He simply stared at the targets again, as if hoping they would correct themselves. They did not. The older man stepped forward now. His presence shifted the air. This was Colonel Ashford, a name spoken carefully on base. He had overseen units that did not exist on paper and operations that never happened. He addressed Rourke first. "You criticized what you didn't understand," Ashford said calmly. "That setup reduces transition time. The sling tension stabilizes recoil. The optic placement improves peripheral tracking." Rourke swallowed. "Sir, it's not standard." "Standard is for average," Ashford cut in. "Excellence adapts." Then he turned to Mara. "Where did you learn that configuration?" he asked. Mara finally spoke. Her voice was steady. "Joint training rotation, sir. Ranger cadre. I was told to keep what works." Ashford nodded once. Approval without ceremony. The recruits were watching now, really watching. The laughter from earlier felt distant, embarrassing. A few shifted their feet. Others looked at Mara with new eyes. Rourke cleared his throat. "Lieutenant Hale," he said stiffly, "run the drill again." She did. Same result, same precision. Ashford addressed the line. "Let this be clear," he said. "Rank gives authority, but skill gives credibility, and arrogance blinds faster than ignorance. He turned back to Rourke. "You're here to build soldiers, not egos." Rourke nodded, chastened. "Yes, sir." Mara said nothing. She reset her rifle, returned to formation, invisible again by choice. That was the lesson. True discipline does not demand attention, true competence does not seek validation, and true authority recognizes both. The moment passed, training resumed. Officially, nothing happened. Unofficially, everything changed.
Years later, the story spread not as a report, but as a quiet legend passed between ranges and barracks. They said there was a lieutenant once mocked for her rifle who outshot an entire line without raising her voice. They said an instructor learned humility in under 3 seconds. They said a colonel reminded everyone what excellence actually looks like. Mara Hale went on to serve in units where silence was currency and precision was survival. She never corrected people who underestimated her. She let time do that work. Instructors who had been on that range adjusted how they taught. They began asking why before demanding how. Recruits learned that conformity was not the same as discipline, and that respect was earned fastest by results. As for Rourke, he became a better trainer, not softer, just sharper. He never mocked a setup again without understanding it first. The legend ended the same way every time, with a line attributed to Mara herself. She had said it once quietly, after a long day on the range, when a young recruit asked how to deal with being underestimated. She had paused, checked her rifle, and answered, "Let them doubt. Skill doesn't need permission to speak." Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories from Tales of Courage.